What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Posttopostpod podcast. This week is episode I don't really know because I'm going on vacation on Wednesday. What's going on, Matt?
I love that intro.
What episode is it?
It's episode 36, buddy.
Nice. We're not doing an episode next week, so 37 will be dropping another week later.
No, we're actually going to have a week off. We haven't had a week off since the beginning.
Yeah, this is the first time we're actually taking a breather, but we have trade deadline news and a lot of free agent signings to go over this week, so a lot of stuff to cover today, and then next week, hopefully not too much that we miss out on, and we'll double down the week after.
Mm-hmm.
It will be a short off season, which is nice. Looking at the calendar now, you'll get this episode on Monday, August 2nd. We're going to take off Monday, August 9th, and we basically have like 4 episodes before this preseason starts back up. So we'll have, pretty short off season, all things considered.
Right.
So it's nice to see.
So my phone was blowing up this week. My Instagram was going off. Your Instagram was going off. I can't believe the amount of trades, the signings. We have some crazy news with Marc-Andre Fleury going on this week that me and you kind of have a different take on. We need to get started with this because if we don't get started on this right now, it'll be like a 2-hour, 3-hour episode, I feel like.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So should we get into the trades here?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so for the trades this week, starting on July 24th, we have the Philadelphia Flyers acquiring forward Cam Atkinson from the Columbus Blue Jackets in exchange for forward Jacob Voracek. I feel like that's like it's an even deal right there.
It's an even deal, but I think the Flyers are going to benefit more from it than the Blue Jackets will, just based on all the other picks that we're going to talk about. I mean, all the other trades and signings that Philadelphia made.
Right.
And I think Cam Atkinson overall is a better player than Jacob Voracek. I don't know why I feel that way, but that's just my opinion on it.
I feel like Jake Voracek, he was always a good player. I think the past maybe 2 seasons or so, he's starting to kind of slow down. I don't know if that's age, but yeah, you're right. Cam Atkinson is the better player, but I still feel like maybe Jake Voracek might come out guns blazing maybe next season.
Yeah, it's a pretty clean 1-for-1 too. I like to see that.
Exactly. So we got another trade too. Florida Panthers acquire forward Sam Reinhart from the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for a 2022 first-round pick and goaltender Devon Levy. Devon Levy was the backup goaltender for Team Canada for the World Juniors that we talked about earlier in our podcasting. So I like him. Again, so Devon Levy is funny because I want to bring up Melody Martin again because with all like the trades and everything, she keeps posting more and more. And she was confused, like, who the hell is this Devon Levy guy? I'm like, yeah, he's a great goaltender. You shouldn't be too upset with this, but
well, she's also opposed to the rebuild, and I mean, getting Reinhardt out of there is tough to see, but obviously getting a first-round pick for next year is huge to reload on because they'll probably get another one for finishing in 32nd this season.
Panthers looking good throughout this entire week.
Don't go over your head.
Yeah, it went right over my head.
I said they'll probably get they'll have a second first-round pick from finishing 32nd this season too.
Solid, dude.
Yeah, nice high first-round pick. But yeah, I mean Devon Levy, however you say it, is going to be good for the future of Buffalo as well. So
just got to get on some time in the NHL, AHL, let him grow as a goaltender.
I can do the next 2 if you want. You ready to do the next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
On July 26th, the Arizona Coyotes acquired defenseman Anton Strawman from the Florida Panthers in exchange for a 7th-round pick in the 2023 draft.
I like him, man. Antoine Strawman was a big name back in the day when he was playing for the New York Rangers. I haven't really followed up with him ever since he left the Rangers. I would say the fact that he's still in the NHL, probably still a decent guy.
And I think with the loss of Oliver Ekman-Larsson for them, it's not the same replacement, but it's a step down, but still something.
Right.
And a 7th-round pick is like jack shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Moving on from that, you good?
Yep.
Winnipeg Jets, same day, acquired defenseman Brendan Dillon from the Washington Capitals in exchange for a 2nd-round pick in the 2022 NHL draft and a 2nd-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft.
Feels like a steal.
2nd-round picks are pretty
big.
Yeah, and it's 2 of them. So
right. But Brendan Dillon, I mean, as we've seen with him playing for the Washington Capitals, big dude. Fucking will get the job done. I think Winnipeg Jets picked up a great player here for 2 draft picks.
And I think Washington knows they don't need like high picks for a rebuild. They just need good picks to get them by and maintain the young core that they have.
Right,
I think.
exactly. Because Winnipeg is mainly all young guys. Maybe we're going to throw in a few, maybe Connor Hellebuck, maybe one of the veterans on the team, but it's mainly young dudes playing on there.
Wow.
So, do we want to start this right away?
Yeah, we can dive into this.
We'll just dive into this right away. So this week, me and Chris were posting everything going on our Instagram DMs, and randomly at work, I saw this DM, and it's maddening for me, at least to say at least. Chicago Blackhawks got Marc-Andre Fleury from the Vegas Golden Knights. We thought in exchange for no one, but it's actually Michael Hakkarainen who, yeah, I guess is like...
Yeah, they said future considerations because they hadn't decided who they were going to do yet, right. And it's this guy.
But, yeah, whatever this dude is. I don't like the way this all went down. I think the fact I was watching a video on Kevin Weeks that was saying he called Marc-Andre Fleury to say, like, hey, like, what's your thoughts on you being traded? And from what Kevin Weeks said, Fleury just like, yeah, I think I'm going to be traded. And he goes, no, you were traded to the Chicago Blackhawks. And Kevin Weeks was saying he was kind of just beside himself that, Vegas Golden Knights never really came to him and said what the hell was going on. We have Vegas GM Kelly McCrimmon that actually came out and said, yeah, news came out on Twitter before we could say anything, but it's just looking more and more like a scum move from the Vegas Golden Knights. We get that it's a business, and you got to carry out a business.
I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and disagree with that. Mm-hmm. I don't see it as a scum move. I heard that the reason that he found out from Twitter was because the deal wasn't finalized, mm-hmm. and an agent or someone in the industry found out before it was finalized and leaked it. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't supposed to be announced by anyone yet. Like, right. It wasn't finalized from Vegas and Chicago first. Mm-hmm. Like, they brought it to the table. They said, this is what we're thinking. And somehow it got out before it was completed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't blame them, because you can't go up to him and be like, Mark, we're trading you to Chicago, and then the deal falls through. Mark's pissed now because they're like, you're shopping me, and the deal falls through. Now you're stuck with a pissed off goalie, and he's like, I want out. I want to get traded now.
Right.
And now the ball's in his court, so you can't do that, I think. And it just kind of, the chips fell, and it doesn't look good, obviously.
It doesn't look good at all.
But it's not their fault.
I mean,
you blame the guy that leaked it on Twitter. That's really it.
You can blame the guy that leaked it on Twitter, but you can also be a professional organization that, it would be different. It's weird to say it would be different for another player who's just like maybe like a rookie or whatever. I think people wouldn't even give this a second look. But the fact that it's Marc-Andre Fleury, who's like up there with like one of the greats, like in goaltending, and like just in NHL history as like a goaltender, and you treat him. You just treat him this way as a guy who was brought into the Vegas Golden Knights, was promised he was going to be able to retire here in Vegas.
Which is always bullshit. That's never a promise. It's never a guarantee. If you play like shit, you're going to go play in the AHL, or we're going to move you. So that's not a real thing.
I don't see eye to eye on this, but I think I didn't like the way this happened.
Look at the way that things have been handled in the past. Look at Patrick Waugh in Montreal, the way he got pissed and wanted out.
Right.
Look at it's happened to bigger players than Marc-Andre Fleury in the history of the NHL. Mm-hmm. So it's not like it was a slight. It was just that's how the business works, and it accidentally got leaked out. So what the fuck are you gonna do about it?
It is what it is. I know. From what we've learned so far this week is that as of right now, Marc-Andre Fleury is in Quebec with his family, not knowing what to do. I did see right before recording this that it was not confirmed, but there was.
I thought we were going to bring that one up.
Yeah. No. Well, I'll wait till next week or the following week because we'll learn more. But yeah, we'll skip that. So we don't know what the hell confirmed what Marc-Andre Fleury is going to do. Because he doesn't, there was talk about him retiring.
I think the worst part of it is, like, what Vegas got for him. Like, that's insane. Like, you could have not sold so high on Fleury, but you could have gotten more than a prospect that I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, my God, yeah, you could have.
I don't know.
You got, like, this Vezina. You have this Vezina winner who took you guys to the playoffs every season since you guys became an expansion team. I mean, you could get so much from Marc-Andre Fleury. And I think it's this kind of slap in the face for him to be like, oh, I'm just worth this dude no one even knows that you traded me off to Chicago for. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
It just doesn't really add up to me.
It doesn't add up at all. And I don't like it. Me and you both don't see eye to eye on this, but
that's because you're just fanboying over him as usual.
Anyway, we're gonna. We're taking next week off, but the following week, I'm sure we'll have a lot more information on this. So I don't know. We just gotta wait and see what Marc-Andre Fleury does. There's talk about him retiring or going to Chicago. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You go from Vegas, which is nice and warm or hot because you're in the fucking desert, to Chicago, the windy city. I don't know. So yeah, I don't like it. You're okay with it?
No, I mean, I'm not okay with it. I'm not upset with Fleury finding out over Twitter because that's nobody's fault.
Right.
The only thing I'm really upset about, honestly, is like why would Vegas even want a prospect for him? Like, why wouldn't you get something more? That's really it.
Right.
I don't know.
It's what it is. I mean, right now it is.
Everything else is kind of a he said, they said situation. You know what I mean?
And that's the problem with all of this. Is just like you're hearing information saying, we saw Kevin Weeks saying, well, yeah, we heard Kevin Weeks say this, and now we got Vegas GM Kelly McCrimmon saying this, and it's just like, who the fuck do you believe?
Mm.
And I don't know. It is what it is, and the problem is, Marc-Andre Fleury, no matter what, it'll be years down the road. It'll be after he retired, and he won't be that guy to be like, this is what actually happened in my point of view, and he'll just leave it as is.
Yeah. He's not one to make a big scene.
No, not at all.
His agent does though. His agent likes to tweet out pictures of him with a sword through his fucking back.
Yeah. All right. So moving on from that, on July 27th, we have the Colorado Avalanche acquire defenseman Curtis McDermott from the Seattle Kraken in exchange for a 4th-round pick in the 2023 NHL Draft. I think this is what started this week, me noticing that Seattle Kraken was already looking in the future. I feel like they were trading a bunch of players for a lot of 2022, 2023 draft picks. So, they already got the expansion draft picks, but they're already looking future-wise like, hey, we need to get throughout the years, we need to start picking up these great players.
And I almost feel like they drafted their players like in the expansion draft this year for the future. Like they're not really, like I said last episode, they're not Vegas, and I don't think that they're looking to be a Vegas. I think they, like I said as well, they're in a division where they could slide into playoffs, 4th seed,
right.
Maybe barely miss out, which is fine for a brand new team. And if they look at the future, then now you're setting yourself up for success and basically seeing what you have to work with these next couple of years.
Exactly. So you're right. It's totally not like Vegas where the expansion draft was like, hey, this is the team that's going to take us for the next few years. This is Seattle being like, we're going to take these players, but in like a certain way where this player that we took from the expansion draft, we can trade him in the postseason or off season for someone else, and that's what they've been doing. So in a smart, different kind of way, this is what we've been seeing this entire week with Seattle Kraken.
And another thing that I thought was really funny too, I forget the player that was involved in the 3-way trade with Nashville, but he basically was sent through Nashville to another team, and they tweeted out thanks for all the memories, and it was the dude photoshopped in a Nashville jersey for because he was only there for 20 minutes, and they think Seattle did the same thing for Curtis McDermott.
Oh no, you're thinking about Vitek Vanacek.
Oh yeah, they did it for Vanacek too.
They picked Vitek.
They did it for McDermott as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about him, but yeah, they picked up Vitek Vanacek in the expansion draft. And then, 2 weeks later, they send Vitek Vanacek back to Washington.
Yeah,
for
not even a week later.
A week later for a draft pick, and so they put up a thing saying thank you, Vitek Vanacek, with a Photoshop Seattle Kraken jersey, killing it on social media. So now we got the Winnipeg Jets acquired defenseman Nate Schmidt from the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for a 3rd-round pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. I really like Nate Schmidt on the Vegas Golden Knights. I think he's a great. Nate Schmidt on the Vegas Golden Knights.
He's a great softball player too.
Yeah, did you see that? See that little catch he got? That was sick. But yeah, I do like him. I feel like it's kind of a steal for them for a 3rd-round pick in the 2022 draft. Again, Winnipeg Jets picking up some guys here. throughout this week. What do
Yeah,
you think about
they're
that?
they're looking to build, and I think Vancouver's looking to work from the bottom up.
Mm-hmm.
So
They're looking to build, but it's not like a full rebuild. I think Winnipeg Jets are trying to stay
build,
where they're
build
at.
different than rebuild. Building around what they have.
Yeah,
A rebuild
okay.
is like from the ground
Right,
up.
gotcha. So moving on, we got the Chicago Blackhawks. They acquire forward Tyler Johnson and a second-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft from the Tampa Bay Lightning in exchange for Brent Seabrook.
Way to go, Chicago.
Where to go?
Tyler Johnson's like a really good player and getting a pick as well. All that for just Brent Seabrook, who's kind of aging. I feel like he's on the back nine of his career.
Seabrook was, I remember back in the day, 2010, when they won the Cup, Brent Seabrook was the guy. I feel like throughout the years, though, like any other player, age starts to hit and he starts to kind of slow down. So I wouldn't say complete loss, but I don't know. Even trade, would you say?
No, I think Chicago won on this one.
Chicago definitely won?
Yeah, I think so. Tampa can definitely use veteran presence on the back end, and that'll be good help for their deep playoff runs that they're used to.
Right. Moving on, we got the Calgary Flames. They acquire Nikita Zadorov from the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for a third-round pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. As we've noticed, Chicago Blackhawks making moves here, which they kind of have to. Chicago Blackhawks, and another team where they're kind of in the middle of a rebuild from what happened last season, and they had to. I feel like after last season, this postseason, this off season, whatever you want to call it, you would think like Chicago Blackhawks would be out here trying to make moves, and we're definitely seeing it.
I think with all the moves and the signings that they've had, this could be the thing that puts them over the hump and gets them into the second round of the playoffs kind of thing,
Right, for sure. Moving on from that, you got the Carolina Hurricanes. They acquired defenseman Ethan Bear from the Edmonton Oilers in exchange for Warren Foegele.
Two guys we really don't know anything about, but we thought it was interesting because Bear was traded for a second-round draft pick like last week, wasn't he?
Right, yeah.
Or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
right. Ethan Bear is indigenous to.
Oh, that's right. He was on Edmonton.
Yeah, he was on Edmonton. I remember they were showing the indigenous what do you call it?
Right?
The writing for his last name, which was sick. So yeah, that's I don't know, interesting trade. Vegas Golden Knights acquire forward Evgeny Dadonov. Yeah, right.
No, Evgeny
Dadonov from Ottawa Senators in exchange for defenseman Nick Holden and a 2022 third-round draft pick.
That's going to be huge for Vegas.
Big move. Nick Holden, good. Nick Holden's a good player. I feel like
he showed up this year in the postseason. I didn't really know too much about him beforehand, but he played well this postseason.
He did really well. But when we saw the Vegas Golden Knights cap salary. Like right now, they're evened out. Like they have $0 left in the cap. So the fact that like they knew what they had to do.
But no, they just traded Fleury's contract, so that's free money too. They don't have to pay that $7 million, so that'll open up.
I could have swore as we talked yesterday or the day before, and we looked at the cap salary. It's down to like just an even $0.
Yeah, but that's not like the same way that we'll get to the Bruins later with Krejci.
Mm-hmm.
His money isn't taken off of their cap space on that site either, and they won't have to pay him next year. So
gotcha.
That'll be money that they can play with soon.
Okay, cool. Yep, I didn't know that. Moving on from that, we have the Calgary Flames. They acquired goaltender Dan Vladar from the Boston Bruins in exchange for a 2022 third-round draft pick. So this...
It's kind of weird for me to see things like this because you've taken the time to develop this prospect and you have something that's working and you trade him for a pick that eventually becomes another prospect that you have to take 3-4 years to develop.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets there and then what? You trade him for a pick?
Right.
And then it's like just rinse and repeat. It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
What are you doing?
I don't know.
I didn't get this at all.
I understand it in the sense of like you're going to get a draft pick, but it's like you've gotten not really anything out of Vladar yet.
Right. Nothing. And from what we've seen is they brought up they had goaltender issues. Bruins had goaltender issues toward late season or whatever, and they brought up Jeremy Swayman. They brought up Dan Vladar. Jeremy Swayman kind of took that spot. But with Tuukka Rask out, you have Yaroslav Halak gone. Wouldn't you think like Dan Vladar, Jeremy Swayman would be like the two pickups? But I saw this week that they got rid of Dan Vladar, so I'm like, what the hell are they doing?
We'll get to it later because they did pick up another goalie, but. the other thing that I'm looking at is the fact that you just mentioned. Swayman comes up and outperforms Vladar, who's been in the system longer than Swayman.
Right.
Maybe they see it as a depreciating asset, and now it's let's sell high on him, and a third-round pick is the best that we'll get out of him.
Right.
If we wait another year or two, maybe it becomes a 5th, 6th, 7th-round pick.
Maybe.
Yep.
So sell them always high. Yep.
Could be.
Right. So moving on, we got Washington Capitals. They acquired goalie Vitek Vanacek from the Kraken in exchange for a 2023 second-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft. Again, Seattle Kraken looking ahead, as I talked about earlier. Then we got Colorado Avalanche acquire goalie Darcy Kemper from the Arizona Coyotes in exchange for defenseman Connor Timmins, a first-round pick in the 2022 NHL draft, and a conditional third-round pick in the 2024 draft. A good pickup from Colorado Avalanche, especially after not being able to get Philip Grubauer, so they're going to need that top goalie. And Darcy Kemper has been fantastic for Arizona Coyotes. I think it'll be a great fit for Colorado Avalanche. Probably not as good as Philip Grubauer, but they need a solid keeper in net, and I think Darcy Kemper is going to be a good move for them.
And I think this is the right move for Arizona as well. Sell high on Darcy Kemper, get your picks back that you missed out on this year, and call it a day.
Right, done. So we got July 29th, the New York Rangers acquire forward Ryan Reeves, which is massive, from the Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for a third-round pick in the 2022 draft. Steal?
I don't think steal. Like, a third-round pick is a pretty big asset for a guy like Ryan Reeves that's playing fourth-line minutes, doesn't really put points up on the board. Like, obviously, he has that presence and what's the word I'm looking for? He's got that grit on the ice to protect your highly skilled players. It's a great market for Ryan Reeves to go to because it's New York. It's the biggest market out there.
That was the first thing you said to me. You're like, what
yeah,
market to be
think
in?
about how much of a personality he is for Vegas. And, Vegas is arguably probably maybe the third best market in the NHL behind, Chicago.
Maybe, yeah.
Something like that. But either way, I don't know. Third-round pick's pretty high for, if you think about it. I mean this term nicely, but like a goon. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's not really, putting points up, but does the other stuff on the ice.
Right. So we're going to move on to signings. Big signings this week. And when I say big, I mean just a long list of signings this week. This is where my phone started blowing up. And let's get to it, buddy. So we got on the 24th, we have the Colorado Avalanche. They signed Cale Makar to 6 years, $54 million with the $9 million a year average. Big pickup. I wouldn't say pickup, but big extension for Colorado Avalanche. I think Cale Makar is well worth that money, do you think? I feel like every time you see the Colorado Avalanche logo, Cale Makar seems to be a person that comes up.
Yeah, but what I think this does for everyone else, it kind of shoeholes everyone else in the league into this is what a defenseman of Cale Makar's caliber looks like. So the Bruins are going to look at Charlie McAvoy when his contract comes up and say, well, you're not better than, but you're on par with Cale Makar. We'll probably have to pay you more than that. Adam Fox when his contract's up. Even there was another one, but I'm just rattling here, so we can keep going.
Okay, cool. So we got Detroit on the 25th. We have the Detroit Red Wings making some moves here with Mark Stahl for a 1-year, $2 million contract. They need the guys at Detroit Red Wings. I mean, we did a whole episode on them, and they need all the help they can get. I think Mark Stahl is a good pickup, but as we saw with who's the team we were talking about that had the players? Oh, Buffalo Sabres. As we saw Buffalo Sabres last year, I mean, you can have the players, but if you guys can't connect well, man, it doesn't work. So we'll see what this is. I know Mark Stahl's a great player. He was great player for New York Rangers when he was playing, so maybe he can do something.
I think what Detroit's looking at here is we have a lot of young players in our locker room, a lot of prospects coming up to play third, fourth line minutes, so you get a veteran guy like Mark Stahl to show him the ropes and show him what it takes.
So on the 26th, you have the Winnipeg Jets signing Paul Stastny to 1 year, $3.75 million. Florida Panthers signed Sam Bennett to a 4-year, $17.6 million, which is a $4.4 million a year average.
That's a big one for Sammy.
That's a big one. Yep. Sam Bennett's great player for Florida Panthers. I would lock him up.
I think he proved himself in the postseason too, even though they didn't go too far. What he brought to their game against their series against Tampa Bay was big.
Was excellent. Yep, exactly. Definitely deserving of that. And they locked him up for 4 years. Which
Paul
is
Stastny's
good.
still getting good money too for his age.
Right, exactly. Okay, moving on to the 27th. This is the big one here, too. So we got Colorado Avalanche. They signed Gabriel Landeskog to 8 years, $56 million, which is $7 million a year average. Solid. They just, like, here's the dotted line here, sign here, and we got you locked in for 8 years.
Yeah, I sent you a nice meme earlier today. Landeskog and Makar demanding $9 million plus, and then it's he's shaking his hand. It's McKinnon taking a huge pay cut to keep the team together.
Just trying his hardest to let's be a good team. So after that, we got Florida Panthers. They signed Brennan Montour to a 3-year, $10.5 million, which is $3.5 million a year average. We got Winnipeg Jets with Eric Comrie for 1 year, which is $750,000. Boston Bruins signed Mike Riley to 3 years, $9 million, which is a $3 million a year average. Montreal Canadiens making a big move here with Joel Armia, which is 4 years, $13.6 million, which is $3.4 million a year average. Joel Armia was a great addition here, too. I think he proved himself another player in the playoffs that we saw for Montreal Canadiens during that whole push, even up to the Stanley Cup Finals there, that I think he was just a great player. So I think he deserves
I agree.
this.
And then I think on the other side of the spectrum, you see a Mike Riley making just about the same money as Joel Armia, but I don't really think he should be personally. Like,
right.
I don't know. That seems like
I
an
saw
overpay
that
for
too,
me.
and I'm like, eh.
Like he's a good defenseman. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
Joel Armia is making $400,000 more than him a year, and it's like Joel Armia is like 9 times better.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
I don't know. I think he's head and shoulders above him.
But I think when Mike Riley saw what Boston Bruins was going for, they're just like, yeah, I'll sign that. Yeah.
And then I mean, we need good defensemen on the back end in Boston.
Right.
And then Brandon Montour. Don't know too much about him. A lot of time on the ice, a lot of up and down minutes. I think that's a good lock in for Florida.
Right. Exactly. Florida making some moves here. Montreal Canadiens locking people up. And then, speaking of locking people up, a guy that's just never going to move at all is Washington Capitals. You get Alexander Ovechkin, signs a 5-year, $47.5 million, which is $9.5 million a year average with Washington. Locks him up. He's not going anywhere.
It's just like him on the power play. He's not going anywhere.
He's
He's
not
going to
going
stand in his
anywhere. He's going to
spot.
stand there in his spot. He's going to sit there just stick just hanging on his legs, just kind of waiting. And
That puts him at 40 years of age at the end of that contract, too. So he'll be playing until he's 40.
The Russian machine never breaks, buddy.
Yeah, allegedly.
He's killing it. Did you see his son? They showed his son. They line up all the pucks, and he's like, shoot it on net, and he's just crushing it. Just right in the net, like no problem at his age. What is he, 3, 4 years old?
Tell you.
Crushing it. Tell you, man, those Russians are born with skates on their feet. Moving on, we got the St. Louis Blues, Pavel Buchnevich, which 4 years, $23.2 million. That's $5.8 million a year. And then the Vancouver Canucks signing Connor Garland, which is 5 years, $24.7 million. That's $4.95 million a year. Pavel Buchnevich, I think a great pickup by St. Louis Blues.
A lot of money for him, though.
Yeah.
He hasn't, I don't think he's fully proven himself in the league yet.
Right.
And I think that's a hefty price to pay for them.
But if you were to compare both St. Louis Blues and the New York Rangers as a team, do you feel like it's kind of like the same kind of setup?
I think it is, but I think one is on the rise and one's on the decline. And I think St. Louis is on the decline there.
Oh, wow.
Where Rangers are on the way up.
Oh, okay.
Because they're rebuilding and on their way up in their division, in my opinion, with all the young talent they have. Adam Fox, Georgiev.
I see what you're saying.
They got Panarin from Columbus, and then St. Louis, kind of like I've said before. I think they were a flash in the pan kind of thing. Fort C getting bounced in the first round, and they're both in that area because the Rangers just missed playoffs. I think as like the 5th seed. So I mean, I don't know. I think next year maybe we see St. Louis sitting out and the Rangers being in. Not obviously one over the other, but I think St. Louis sitting out and the Rangers being in.
Right.
That's what I think.
That's a good opinion. I was thinking something different, completely different, but yeah, you make a good point. I was thinking for some reason St. Louis Blues were just gonna. But yeah, you're right. I think we talked about this with Jordan Bennington, where like he had his thing, and now it's just.
I think the team as a whole, like, it's like the definition of a flash in the pan. They were dead last in January. It's like, a crazy story that shouldn't have happened, honestly. Like, there was probably 0 odds from Vegas on them winning the cup. I think someone, like, cashed in big time, like, maybe threw $100-$500 on them and fucking made bank.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he threw it on them when they were, like, dead last, and it was, like, the only opportunity for them to get there.
Holy shit.
That was like the ticket, you know?
Moving on from that, we have on the 28th, we have the Anaheim Ducks signing veteran goalie Brian Elliott to a 1-year, $900,000 contract here. What is up with Anaheim bringing in these veteran? It's all veteran dudes here. Like, who's the?
They got to be one of the oldest teams in the league.
They have to be.
I mean, they just lost Ryan Miller, so he's a good replacement for him, I think.
I mean, again, Ryan Miller, just veteran dude. Like, who's the youngest guy on that ice? Gibson, the goalie?
No, they have Zegras on the ice, too.
Oh, Zegras,
They're
too.
pulling up prospects, too. They're in a pretty shit situation, I think.
I mean, the Ducks, man, just like, I don't know. They're not I feel like they should have, I don't know. Maybe they're looking for the veteran dude. Maybe Ryan Miller was the good veteran guy that was helping out Gibson, but now they're just like, all right, let's find another veteran guy to, help him out.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a way to keep.
Brian Elliott also, he's older, but I would say he's like 3-4 years behind what Halak is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
He's that guy that can show up to any team, make a short amount of money, and overperform his contract.
He did the same thing with the Flyers when Carter Hart wasn't doing good. Remember, Flyers took Carter Hart out, and Brian Elliott was just like the starter, and he did really well. Yeah, you're right. So like it's like, hey, we'll only pay you again like $900,000, and Brian Elliott plays like he's getting fucking $2 million a season.
Yeah, he plays like he should get $2 million a season. Is
right,
what I mean,
exactly. Right. So we got the Arizona Coyotes signing Ryan Zingle, 1 year, $1.1 million. And then you got the Nashville Predators signing David Riddick to a 1 year, $1.25 million. Riddick's been kind of all over the place. I feel like Nashville Predators need that. Would you say good backup for UC Saros?
I think
I think David
Riddick
is a good little backup for him. I don't know if he's going to be as good of a backup as UC Saros or Pecorine, but they need a solid backup. I think David Riddick's a guy, and especially for 1 year, $1.25 million. I think they picked up a great guy here. So for the Buffalo Sabres, another goalie here, Craig Anderson, signed for 1 year with $750,000. There was talk about him. I think that it wasn't talk about him, but I think he said he was going to retire after last season or this postseason or whatever the hell. And I think Buffalo Sabres are just like, hey man, we'll give you $750,000 to play for us 1 year. And he's like, all right, yeah, let me do it.
I don't remember seeing that, but yeah, you're probably right. I just don't remember it.
Yep. And then you have the Boston Bruins. This is where that Dan Vladar and Tuukka Rask, kind of disappearing. They sign Linus Ullmark to I thought maybe a 1 year thing, 4 year, $20 million. So this is like
who was the starter in Buffalo last season, or who's the other goalie in Buffalo?
Buffalo was there's Linus Ullmark, and then there was.
I'll pull it up. You can go in on your opinion.
Yeah. So here's where. So I don't want to sound like a Bruins guy, but that's all we see here. So it's kind of like we kind of know more about that here. Tuukka Rask is out. He's still UFA. No one's picked him up.
I'm going to jump in here. I found the answer to Aaron Dell.
Aaron Dell.
There's Luukkonen, Anderson, and Dustin Tokarski. So it must have been Aaron Dell and Ullmark last year? That's weird.
Year.
I don't remember seeing Aaron Dell at all, but I also didn't fucking turn on the Sabres game at all. Sorry.
So, Linus Ullmark. Sorry, all right, let me go back here. So, Tuukka Rask, UFA currently right now, unsigned. But Tuukka Rask is actually going through surgery. From what is projected, he won't return to any game until late next season.
Just in time to shit the bed.
Just in time to shit the bed. The Bruins shipped Yaroslav Halak. Well, it didn't ship him, but they didn't sign him. So Yaroslav Halak signs that 1 year deal with Vancouver Canucks. Now what? Okay, in my head, you have Dan Vladar and you have Jeremy Swayman. Sick, right? Nope. Dan Vladar goes to the Calgary Flames.
Sick. Why would that be sick?
Well, it would say hey, you have Dan Vladar and Jeremy Swayman as the goalies now, since
which is not good.
You don't think so?
No, that's terrible.
So you're thinking
pick someone up.
Pick someone up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, like, they're both way too young. Clearly, Vladar, I don't think was ready to take on that role. They did fill, like, I think Swayman really carried the weight, but they filled in fine for, 10 games while Tuukka was out. But if you gave them the full 82-game season for the two of them, I think they would get exposed quickly.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
No,
on
I
it.
can definitely see your opinion now. It was very different from mine. But I think this says, too, is that Linus Ullmark for 4 years is a big signing because that means we have no idea what the hell the Bruins are going to do with Tuukka Rask. They said they left the door open for Tuukka Rask to come back, but in the meantime, he's still UFA. There's no contract on the table for him. Any team could pick him up. Again, we talked about why he's still UFA and why would another team pick him up when he's going to be injured and may not return until late next season. So we don't know what the hell's going on with Tuukka Rask. So
and I mean, that goes both ways. Like, we don't know if the Bruins are trying to talk. He doesn't want to talk. We don't know if there's been an offer and he's shopping the market. We don't know if he's talking to other teams.
Right.
Like, we know nothing. So anything's possible.
Anything.
But what this tells me is I don't think they're going to sign Tuukka because right now he makes $7 million.
Mm-hmm.
He is probably due for more money, in my opinion, being like the third best goalie in the league based on statistics. And I don't think the Bruins are going to pay $12 million out of an $82 million cap on goaltending.
And if this says anything to me is when and if Tuukka even comes back, it's, hey, we signed Linus Ullmark to this contract. You're going to get a pay cut and a half. And we're maybe one.
That's not going to happen.
You don't think
There's
so?
like no chance. Like,
but
he wouldn't sign
that's
that.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's
walk.
like 1 or 2 year contract maybe, and it's not going to be that much. So we're probably going to see Tuukka Rask walk, go somewhere else, maybe retire.
No way he retires.
You think he's going to retire?
No, that's not an option.
Uh,
He's like in his prime right now, I would say.
But this, yeah, you're right. But this is kind of showing me that, yeah, you're right. Maybe the Bruins are possibly
That's what I think.
moving on.
Because, I mean, you have Ullmark, and like you said, Ullmark and Swayman, that sounds better.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Ullmark. I think he's going to underperform for the Bruins personally.
Right.
I think he did really well in Buffalo, but there were so many better names on the market that the Bruins could have went after and got,
Right.
even for that price point.
I didn't like
I
this
don't know.
sign. I did not like this sign. Again, there were just so many better options. I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know. It just is what it is. Let's move on from that because, maybe I said the same thing. You know what funny as shit is that I said the same thing about Yaroslav Halak when the Bruins picked him up, and then he just, he performed well since that pickup. I'm like, I remember saying, what the hell is the Bruins doing? But I don't know. They seem to know what the fuck they're doing.
So
and maybe
looking
this
at
might
just
be it.
signings, not trades, right?
Right.
I'm just going to rattle off. We're going to get into a lot of these later, too.
Right.
I'm going to rattle off the names that were goalies that were signed. Garland, dumbass question. Garland's a player, right? He's not a goalie.
Right.
All right. Brian Elliott, David Riddick, Craig Anderson, obviously Linus Ullmark.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into Antti Ranta later. I didn't write the name down for this one. That's fucked. My bad. Yeah, that's fine. It's one of them. And I think Legace, Mike Smith,
Oh, I see you now.
Peter Mrazek, Yaroslav Halak, Frederick Anderson, Martin Jones, Philip Grubauer. They're if you're looking for a long-term commitment like you did with Ullmark of 4 years, 20 mil, Philip Grubauer signed 6 years and he's making an extra $900,000 over him. So you could have gotten Grubauer for a little bit extra money. James Reimer. These are just other names that were out there, and they just picked. I don't know. I think it's because they have a good relationship with Buffalo, and it's easy to work with them and make things happen. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think there were better options.
Wanna keep going down the list here?
Yeah, where do we leave off? So, Detroit Red Wings found a home for Pius Suter, 2 years, $6.5 million, 3.25 AAV. And Chicago, I think, missed the boat on this guy. They totally should have locked him up for more. He overperformed, and I think he got overpaid by Detroit, but it's good to see them lock him up. I believe that was the one that I missed was Jake Bean.
Mm-hmm. Jake Bean, that was it. Yep.
Let me write it down.
Jake Beans, buddy. That was 3 years, $7 million. There we go.
All right, I'll fill that in if you want to keep rattling off.
Yep. Was that after that? So the LA Kings now next.
Yeah.
So we got the LA Kings. They signed Andreas Athanasiou. So LA, Athanasiou is a good player. I think every time you watch like an LA game, Athanasiou is always on the ice. He's always got something to do with the puck. I wouldn't say like a great player that you would sign for like 2 or 3 years.
Oh, dude, no, we're way higher than this.
Yeah, exactly. So
no, we're like, you're in the wrong section. Way higher than this. We just did Linus Ullmark, and then I just did Pius Suter. So we're at New Jersey Devils signed Dougie Hamilton for 7 years, $63 million, $9 million AAV right now.
Oh, here we go. Yep.
That was probably one of the biggest signs of the offseason so far, don't you think?
Yeah, Dougie,
that is so
sure.
much money for him. I think he was a great presence in Carolina. He's a great like quiet leader. I think from what I can tell. But $9 million is a lot of money for him. I don't put him in the same category as a Cale Makar, as an Adam Fox,
no,
as a Charlie McAvoy, personally. But
no,
that's just
but
my opinion.
Dougie was good with the Bruins, and then when he went to Carolina, he made his mark there. Teach me how to Dougie and shit. And I don't know if he's going to be a great fit with the New Jersey Devils, but they really wanted him with this 7 years, $63 million, so they really locked him up.
I think he will be, because I think he'll be the guy to turn the franchise around with them. The franchise is going to grow with him, and he's kind of like a young leader for them. He's not young, but, not a veteran leader either.
It's kind of funny seeing the New Jersey Devils franchise, I wouldn't say tank, but like kind of fall apart after Marty Brodeur kind of left. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't say full fall apart, but like started to realize like, oh shit, like we banked on Marty Brodeur for like how many years? Like it's kind of, we got to start to like kind of not rebuild, but be like, okay, we need better defensemen.
Yes and no. I think they built around Marty Brodeur a lot with the teams that they brought together back then, and I don't think it like really went off the tracks after he left. I think it's been a slow decline. You know what I mean? Like they really hit rock bottom maybe 2-3. No, they were in the Stanley Cup like 7 years ago? They played the Rangers, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know. I wouldn't say they really fell apart fully.
I feel like
they're in the same position as the Rangers.
Because you remember when oh my god, I just had his name in my head. Who's the goalie that backed up Marty Brodeur? God, he always had like the CCM or Reebok glove and blocker and then Vaughn pads. This is gonna kill me. God, I want to say Scott Wedgwood so bad, but it's not him. He's not in the NHL anymore. But he backed up. This is gonna kill me. I'm gonna randomly say it in the podcast here.
He played in Vancouver too, didn't he?
He played in Vancouver. Oh my God,
he backed up Luongo.
He backed up Luongo. Corey Schneider backed up Marty Brodeur. Marty Brodeur kind of showed him the way and shit. And when Marty Brodeur left for St. Louis Blues, he became that starter. And he did not do what I think New Jersey thought he was going to do. That's when they shipped him out to Vancouver. And then from then, I think they started having issues with goaltending until Mackenzie Blackwood came in. Mackenzie Blackwood has really became this starting goalie that, when he becomes UFA, I feel like New Jersey Devils needs to...
I think they will lock him up,
They need to lock him up.
That could be their guy.
Exactly. And I think that's when... in the middle between Corey Schneider and Mackenzie Blackwood, I think that's when New Jersey started realizing, again, what you said.
They didn't have like a concrete, plan, a building stone.
Right, exactly. Oh, nailed it right there. So moving on, we got the Carolina Hurricanes. They signed Antti Raanta to a 2-year, $4 million contract. Solid move by them. Antti Raanta has always been one of my favorite goalies to watch. He's very different.
It'll be a bigger market for him to get exposed to, too. Like,
right, exactly.
As much as Carolina is not a bigger market, they get more media exposure than the Coyotes do currently.
Moving on, we got the Montreal Canadiens signing Mike Hoffman to a 3-year, $13.5 million contract. Mike Hoffman, I can't remember what did he play before? Florida.
He went there from Ottawa.
Yep. Mike Hoffman's a good pickup for Montreal.
Highly skilled player, but you don't hear too much about him. There's another player that was in Columbus that was kind of like him, right. Matt Duchene. You see his name a lot, but you don't really see him too much.
Right,
you know what I mean?
I think Montreal throughout this entire thing is it's trying to stay where they were at last season.
They felt that push. And they were like, we're close.
We're close.
We're closer than we think we
exactly. Let's not make crazy moves. Let's make good signings. And I think that's what you see in Montreal do right now. So on the 29th, we got Columbus Blue Jackets signing Zach Werenski to a 6-year, $57.5 million contract. Good move by Columbus. We're going to see Columbus a few times here. They're really starting to try to make moves here and be the team that they once were when they had when they had Sergei Bobrovsky be the guy before moving to Florida, and then you had Jonas Korpisalo, his backup, when there was like a solid all-around team. And I think that's where the Columbus Blue Jackets are trying to be again. They're trying to be that solid all-around team to make it to the playoffs, to make it past where they were. Because remember when, what was 2 or 3 seasons ago, remember Columbus came in 8th place overall versus
Tampa
and upset them. And they had that little run for like 2 more rounds.
No, not 2 more rounds. I think they got swept the next round, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because they swept Tampa, and then I think they got reverse swept.
Right. I think they want to get back to that, and we're definitely seeing that.
And while we're there, we actually did not write this one down. The Blackhawks signed Seth Jones to an 8-year, $76 million extension, which, quick math, I want to say that's $8 million per year. That's another Columbus defenseman that is highly touted, like Zach Werenski, and I don't think they could have kept both. I think Werenski's the better player to go with for them because they're they should be fully rebuilding, and he's younger and like better off. Seth Jones is like one of the best defensemen in the league. Another player that you don't see a lot of coverage on, like a Ryan Ellis as a defenseman, who we also saw move. Did we cover that one yet or no?
No, not yet. I don't think. Yeah,
I'm gonna see if that one's on here, but you can keep going.
Okay, cool. Montreal Canadiens yet again here. They signed Matthew Perreault to a 1-year, $950,000 contract.
I think we did Seth Jones and Ryan Ellis last week, so that's my bad. But whatever.
No worries. And then we have the Columbus Blue Jackets yet again with Jake Bean, 3 years, $7 million contract. Who the fuck is Jake Bean?
I think he was on Carolina, right? And then he went to Seattle in the expansion draft.
God, I can't.
And then I think now he's back. He's in Columbus. So kind of a lot of bouncing for him and a lot of not great places. But
right.
I think Jake Bean got paid a lot of money, and I think I don't know too much about him, but I'm like 80% sure that he earned it from how he played in Carolina over the past few years.
Interesting. I see when you say that name, like I can't put an image. Sometimes
you can't see his jersey.
I can't see a jersey. Yeah. So the St. Louis Blues, they signed Brandon Saad for a 5-year, $22.5 million deal. Brandon Saad, excellent player who played phenomenal for the Chicago Blackhawks. I think he's going to do the same for the St. Louis Blues. Tampa Bay Lightning, they signed Corey Perry for a 2-year, $2 million contract. I think Corey Perry really proved himself in Montreal, especially in the playoffs and the playoff run that they had last year. So picking him up for 2 years, $2 million a year. I don't know if that's going to be a steal for Tampa Bay Lightning, but
I think that's a steal, $1 million.
Pickup, yeah, a year.
And I think that last year with Montreal, Corey Perry proved that he could be the guy, to actually show up and do something on the ice and not just be a worm and really like go out there intending to injure people and fuck things up. So
right,
I thought that was really cool to see. I also thought it was funny. I think quick shout out Hockey Collective. They've been so good with all the signings and everything and like all the info we need.
Yep.
They put a caption up because he went from Montreal to Tampa and said, if you can't beat him, join him.
Solid move. Moving on, we got the Dallas Stars signing Michael Raffl to a 1-year, $1.1 million contract.
I'm getting fucking raffled tonight, bud.
I was thinking that too when I get home. So Michael Raffl, a name you can add to the list, Philadelphia Flyers, and I think when he was playing for Philadelphia, great player. I would say I don't know if I'd say all around great player, but I think as a defensive kind of player, I think it's a good pickup for Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars is, as a team, they're all offensive. Like, it's a big offensive team. They do have some kind of defense, good defensemen.
They're kind of in the same position the Bruins are, I feel like. Like, I find them very comparable. Like, I think his name's Miro. I forget his first name. Heiskanen.
Heiskanen,
yeah. He's coming up in the rankings, and I see him as, like, a young Charlie McAvoy, and he's going to be one of like the Cale Makars in the league.
Right.
He's not really there yet. It also doesn't get as much coverage in Dallas, but I don't think they have a lot of names on the back end, and they are very top heavy, like you said. Like
right,
the Bruins
exactly.
are.
And it's good to get some defense in there for Dallas. Then we're going to move on to Minnesota Wild. They signed Dmitry Kulikov to a 2-year, $4.5 million contract. Solid signing from Minnesota Wild. It's Minnesota Wild. You don't see him much throughout this entire postseason so far, but Kulikov's been an excellent player, and I think it's going to be a good addition to the Wild team. I think Wild
was he on the Wild before? I don't remember.
I don't think Kulikov was. But Wild, again, being a huge fucking hockey city, they're just a great all-around team.
It's so disappointing to see, not necessarily how bad the team is, but I don't know how bad they have been, kind of thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it kind of sucks, but it is good to see him sign there. This guy's been kind of a suitcase. It looks like 7 years in Florida, a year in Buffalo, 3 years Winnipeg, Devils, Edmonton, and now Minnesota.
Kind of move around.
Yeah, getting shipped a bit, but he seems like he's making good money doing it. So
right.
he might be chasing money rather than, different players chase different things. Some guys want a cup, some guys want big
just
paychecks.
want the money. I don't know. It is what it is for these players. I mean, if you're gonna go to a shit team, but the shit team's gonna be like, hey, we'll pay you like $7 million to play here for the next 2 years. Be like, okay, yeah, I'll play there.
Yeah.
And some guys are just like, no, you're not gonna win the cup. I'll go to this team.
Make half as much money, but
right, exactly.
Take a kick at the can.
Exactly.
And then the last one, Toronto Maple Leafs, Andre Cachet, 1 year, $1.25 million. Not too shabby there.
Nope.
Following up here, we got some contracts that were signed with. I don't think that they disclose what they're making, which is kind of cool. Like, it's up to them if they want to or not.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything. We both couldn't find anything.
But some players, I think, reserve the right to just be like, I don't want to tell people how much I'm making, which is kind of like, I don't know. I kind of respect that. It's pretty cool.
Right.
So New York Rangers signed Philip Keitel for 2 years. Columbus Blue Jackets signed Alexander Texier for 2 years. Both of those very good players. I like Texier a lot more than I like Keitel. I think Keitel's on the way down and Texier is on the way up.
Right. Yep.
Carolina Hurricanes taking a chance on Tony DeAngelo, giving him another 1 year contract. We'll see how that one plays out. Florida Panthers, Carter Verhaeghe for 3 years, and Tampa Bay Lightning, Maxime Legace for a year.
I like Carter Verhaeghe. I think Florida Panthers signed a...
I don't know too much about him. Where'd he come from? Any idea?
Oh, God. Verhaeghe's from...
What do you like about him? I got it.
Carter Verhaeghe is just a great player. I think he's more of like a more like of a passing like assist kind of player where he could just find the players. What am I trying to say here? He could find like the open players no matter where they are on the ice. When he was playing for why am I?
Yeah, he's young. So he played a year for Tampa in 1920. He was 9-4 goals and assists, -9 on the season. So that was his first entry year. But with Florida, he really
was Florida. Yep.
Yeah. With Florida, he really stepped it up. 18 goals, 18 assists, plus 24, which is massive.
Yep.
And so he's a good two-way player.
Yep. Exactly.
But a 3 year contract to lock him in. That's a good choice by them.
Good choice. So we have Matt's notes here. So
this is anything that we
kind of
found on the site, but we kind of missed, and
right.
we're just doubling back.
So we have the Colorado Avalanche signing Tyson Jost to a 2 year, $4 million contract. Good move. Edmonton Oilers signing, I thought this was kind of interesting. Mike Smith being old as shit, but it can still go. Edmonton Oilers, they signed Mike Smith to a 2 year, $4.4 million contract. How do you feel about that?
I think he really revamped his game this year with the Oilers. He really proved himself and said, hey, I'm not done here. I got something else I can do. And I think that the change of scenery and I want to say like probably a new goalie coach, something similar to the Carey Price situation, really turned his game around.
Right.
And it wasn't like turned around, but it revived it.
Yeah. Right. And then we have the Columbus Blue Jackets signing Patrick Laine to a 1 year, $7.5 million contract. Big contract for 1 year, but Patrick Laine definitely deserves it. How do you feel about this?
Guys. Yeah, I think they honestly might have saved money on this. The 1 year contract is a tough look for Columbus. Like, I think if it was any other market, he would have locked in for 3-4 anywhere else, but I think he still kind of wants out of here, but is taking what he can get for now. And I think he also needs to prove himself again because of all the bullshit that's gone on with wanting out of Vancouver, right?
He wanted out of Winnipeg.
Wanted out of Winnipeg. They said, fuck you, here's Columbus, and then all the bullshit benching with Tortorella. So I think he's going to take this season, prove himself. Tortorella's not coming back to Columbus, allegedly, and this will be the year for him to really step it up and maybe bump that contract up to an 8 or 9 mil per year.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe Patrick Laine taking the 1 year, great money too, 7.5 for 1 year,
And I think that's what the deal was, because they would be like, all right, we'll give you like 8 or 9 if you do 3-4.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm doing 1 year. And they're like, all right, here's
cool.
7. And he's like, okay.
And maybe prove himself, maybe get like another team that's like interested in him and move on. So you got the Flyers signing my boy Keith Yandle, 1 year, $900,000. As I said, I was kind of worried, I think, last episode about Keith Yandle because of the absolute run he's on. What's the run? He's like consecutive games played.
Yeah, the Iron Man streak. Hasn't missed a game.
Hasn't missed a game, and I think, I don't know.
He's the leader. He has the longest running streak.
So I wanted to see that keep going. Edmonton Oilers, big signing here with Toronto Maple Leafs. Zach Hyman, 7 years, $38.5 million, which is $5.5 million a year. That's a huge signing, man. Like, Edmonton Oilers got him and was just like, hey, listen, 7 years here. We're going to lock you in
That's
here.
a long time for
That's a long time for a guy that hasn't really played on your team. You're just assuming, like, he's going to be a good addition and just going for him. So, I don't know. I'm nothing against Zach Hyman. I think he's a great player, especially for Toronto. So good for Edmonton.
I just don't think he proved his worth with this contract in Toronto. But I think Toronto media is very hard on their defensemen. I think they find a scapegoat, and I think at one point he was the guy that they all ripped, and I think that probably whacked his AAV down a bit. But 7 years is a long ass contract, so good for him. Locking that down.
Toronto Maple Leafs, with Frederik Andersen gone, signed Peter Mrazek from the Carolina Hurricanes. 3 years, $11.4 million. $3.8 million a year average.
Skip the next one and do the Carolina Hurricanes, also getting Frederik Andersen for 2 years, $9 million, $4.5 million AAV. So they basically like not traded goalies, but ended up getting each other's goalie.
Right, and
that's kind of interesting. Yeah, and Andersen was down in the AHL this season too. Imagine that, making 4.5 after playing in the A this year.
Right, yeah,
that's kind of nuts.
That's nuts. So Braden Holtby moves on to Dallas Stars. He signs with them for 1 year, $2 million. I saw this and think, is Braden Holtby going to be that goalie that kind of just starts moving around the league now?
Yeah, he could be the next Brian Elliott, and I think the way that he played in Vancouver, how everything went down, he could become a head case with this, let it get into his game and take him down a bit. But it's nuts to see how on top of the world he was. He was like the touted goalie. Everyone's looking at him like following his routines, looking at him on the bench, doing all those weird warm-ups and like the eye movements, all this shit. Like everybody's modeling their game after him because of how devoted and dedicated he is. He's like a Ryan O'Reilly when it comes to goaltending. And now we have to see how Dallas, like how this does for him in Dallas. But it's kind of weird to see. And would you ever think after the Stanley Cup winning year with the Capitals that he would be on a 1 year, $2 million
all over
contract?
The place? Yeah, no.
No, even like
way.
the money that he's making.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I wouldn't think that at all.
That's shit.
For
him. You know?
Exactly, right.
Look, and the next one up, the Philadelphia Flyers paying Martin Jones a 1 year, $2 million contract.
Another guy just kind of just moving around.
But him and Holtby making the same amount of money?
Yeah.
That's insane. Like
That's
Martin
insane.
Jones was the worst goalie in the league a couple of years ago for San Jose.
Right. Again, this is why I said it's kind of weird to see. Maybe after this 1 year, you're going to see Braden Holtby move on to another team. But what if this is Braden Holtby's way of like trying to find that home again? Like, remember we talked about Braden Holtby earlier in the podcast where when he was in Vancouver, the whole situation there where that goalie coach was explaining to Braden Holtby saying when he was in Washington Capitals, the way their team was built worked for him. And then when he went over to Vancouver Canucks, it kind of wasn't built for him, and you saw it happen. It's
also just too many moving parts in Vancouver because there's too many people coming in, too many people going out.
Exactly.
Like Washington was set.
Right. And so I don't know if Dallas Stars is going to be maybe this 1 year Dallas and Dallas is like his year for some reason, and maybe it's just like, all right, yeah, I'll take a contract extension. So I don't know. Again, it does suck to see for Braden Holtby. Again, that guy that's spraying the water, everyone kind of. So moving on, we got the Tampa Bay Lightning signing Zach Bogosian to a 3 year, $2.4 million contract. Another great pickup for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay trying to hold on for dear life. That $18 million over the contract is they're trying so hard to get rid of that and also stay a solid cup competing team. I think they're doing a great job. You don't think so? I think Florida is starting to look like the better team here, though. For Florida. No?
I don't think so, where we saw them put up a good fight with Tampa, and that's like the best team in the league, obviously. 2 years back-to-back, I wouldn't say that Florida is looking like a better team than Tampa Bay. You know what I mean? Like, It's tough to say that. I think that Zach Bogosian is a good pickup for them, and that's a great price for him. And I think you're going to see over the next few years that Tampa Bay is a contender, obviously, and players are going to take pay cuts to be there and try to get a cup. Is what you're going to notice. You're going to be like, holy shit, he's making that little to play for Tampa.
So with Marc-Andre Fleury gone, Vegas Golden Knights signed Laurent Brossoit to a 2-year, $4.64 million contract to back up Robin Lehner. One thing that I wanted to bring up, too, when we were talking about Marc-Andre Fleury is that it's like the fans... So there's like two different things. Like people were pissed off about Marc-Andre Fleury, and then there's a set of fans that it took Robin Lehner to go on to social media and be like, "Listen, I had nothing to do with this Marc-Andre Fleury like trade situation," and people were attacking like he came out and said like people are attacking like my mental health and shit because
because people are fucking assholes. They did the same shit with Ethan Bear too.
I hated that shit. And I'm like, you're a fucking disgrace. For the fans that said that, you're an absolute fucking disgrace, and I hope you wash us and hand me about that. I'm like, why the hell would you attack someone else for a team management decision? I fucking hated that, and I'm glad Robin came out.
I don't agree with like attacking the fucking guy, but I could understand fans jumping to the conclusion that it's got to be some locker room beef between the two of them. You know what I mean? Like,
but they also won that
no answers
Jennings trophy with the both of them being like,
but that's not about like the two goalies could fucking hate each other but put up the best stats in the fucking league. They'd still win the Jennings trophy. It's not like hooray camaraderie just because they won it.
Right.
But I think that Vegas is also looking at the future and saying we need one solid starter and a definite backup because we've had like 2-3 years of this bullshit where we don't know who to start with. We're flip-flopping in the playoffs and it ends up fucking us in the end. So now they know that Robin Lehner's their starter and Laurent Brossoit is their backup, and I think that kind of settles everything. Going back real quick to Philadelphia Flyers, I was thinking earlier that this team is going to look really good this year, and I'm starting to question myself looking at their goaltending because Carter Hart underperformed this year and did not look great at all, and Martin Jones is his backup, which I just said was 3 years ago the worst goalie in the league. So I don't really know. Like each year I see Philly and I say, wow, they're kind of set to make a run, and then they always disappoint. I feel like they're kind of like the Toronto Maple Leafs in that regard. Like they're kind of built well, but it just always comes up short.
Right.
And goaltending's usually their big issue,
problem.
With both teams, right? Don't you think? Like Toronto, it ends up being the issue, and Philly seems like it's the issue right now.
Right, exactly. And it always kind of breaks down to that. Like for some reason, you can have like the best defensive, offensive team, but for some reason, just lack goaltending.
Yeah.
I don't know. Moving on from that, we got the Nashville Predators signing Michael Granlund for 4 years, $20 million. The Seattle Kraken making a big move here, signing Philip Grubauer to 6 years, $35.5 million, which is $5.91 million a year average. Solid move by Seattle Kraken, really locking in Philip Grubauer. I mean, he was up there, Vezina candidate this year. I think Seattle Kraken really picking up a big one here with Grubauer.
That's huge, and it's nuts to see Colorado walk on him. That's a big part of your franchise there.
Right, exactly.
Did you already do Michael Granlund too, or did you skip that one?
No, I said Michael Granlund.
Right,
do you want to add to that?
No, I just think it's a good lock-in for Nashville. They're going to need him over the next couple of years because Nashville doesn't look so good.
We have LA Kings sign Philip Denault, 6 years, $33 million. I like that. I think we're seeing a bunch of like Montreal Canadiens players kind of move around the league.
Yeah, they're making their money. They're getting paid for what they. I mean, if you think about it, right, they're on like kind of a team of like misfits, and it's like now each piece from the Montreal team looks like they had a great part in a Stanley Cup run, which they all did. It was a team effort, obviously. Right. And if they can like get out of there,
money.
Almost like get out of there and like find another market to either get paid or take a kick at the can with another team, because I don't think Montreal's going back obviously that far or even conference finals this coming season.
It'll be a few years if so. I think again we're talking about St. Louis
years.
Blues.
That could be after Price.
Yeah, you never know.
They could become like the New Jersey Devils after Brodeur too, if you think about it like that.
Yeah, right. Moving on, we got the Dallas Stars signing Ryan Sutter to 4 years, $14.6 million.
Oh, I missed this one. That is the defenseman from Minnesota.
Yep.
He was being looked at for the Bruins, but they obviously locked up Riley instead of him.
Right.
Wow. That's cool.
Seattle Kraken signed Alex Wenberg to 3 years, $13.5 million.
Big money for someone I don't know shit about.
Oh, yeah. I
Where's
saw that. I'm like,
do you know
ooh.
where he's from or no?
No idea.
I'll check it out.
Okay.
You do the next one.
Cool. And then you have Tampa Bay Lightning signing their boy Braden Point to 8 years, $76 million. So really, really, really wanting Braden Point. And I don't see why not. He's the fucking, I wouldn't say the face of the franchise.
He was the goal leader
but
for the playoffs, right?
He's the dude, yep.
Wenberg, Columbus Blue Jackets. I believe he's a defenseman now that it's coming to my mind. He shoots left. He is a center. Wow, I'm an asshole. Played for 6-7 years on Columbus, 1 year in Florida, and wow.
Why does that name not come up? Was he like fourth line?
No, I doubt it with minutes played.
Wenberg is not come. Like, it doesn't ring a bell with me.
Yeah, 471 games played in the NHL. Like, that's nothing to...
Interesting.
Like, shake your head at.
Right.
Yeah, Braden Point, huge contract for Tampa. Fucking earned it, deserves it.
Nice.
They're going to be fucked contract-wise, cap-wise.
Yeah, right. Seattle Kraken signing Jaden Schwartz to a 5-year, $27.5 million contract.
That's a long time.
Yeah, right. The Devils here signing Jonathan Bernier to a 2-year, $8.24 million contract. Jonathan Bernier was the talk of Carolina Hurricanes. Remember we were talking about because they got rid of Alex Nedeljkovic, they got a Peter Mrazek, and then they picked up Jonathan Bernier. I remember telling you, what the fuck are they doing? Like, Nedeljkovic, man, like
they got fleeced by that Detroit trade. That was
so
insane.
bad.
Twice this season. Stevie Y's kicking ass.
I don't know. So you got the Carolina Hurricanes signing Ian Cole to a 1-year, $2.9 million contract. I think that's a great pickup right there. Ottawa Senators making their cut here with signing Michael Del Zotto from the Rangers for 2 years, $4 million contract. I think he's going to be a good addition to the Ottawa Senators team. They need something to get them to where they once were years ago.
They've been fairly quiet, too. I think we've only mentioned them 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of bad, honestly. Like they should be doing a bit more.
Exactly, from the season they had last year.
Or at least trading to get some picks, something. I don't know.
San Jose Sharks signing James Reimer to a 2-year, $4.5 million contract. Montreal Canadiens yet again with Cedric Paquette with a 1-year, $950,000 contract. Love this move. I think Cedric Paquette's a great player. Again, Montreal Canadiens are really trying to stay where they're at, and it's really starting to show.
And he's coming from Tampa, right? I believe
Tampa,
so.
Yep.
That's funny. They got Corey Perry and Paquette trading places. We jumped over one here. Vancouver Canucks get Luke Shen for 2 years, $1.7 million, $850,000 AAV. So
gotcha. And then we have Vegas Golden Knights signing Alec Martinez to 3 years, $15.7 million contract, which is $5.23 million a year average. This is the contract that you were telling me about where maybe Marc-Andre Fleury, the reason why he wasn't signed?
I think this is the big one because they were talking about how do we sign Alec Martinez with our cap being so screwy.
Yeah.
And look at the weird number of 5.23. You said they're at exactly $0. Exactly. I think this is why they've spent every last dime to sign this guy.
Yep.
And I think Fleury opened up a lot of that cap space to get it done.
And this is where you said this is Vegas Golden Knights looking into the future, where they see Robin Leonard, they see Laurent Brossoit, these guys to sign for years ahead, whereas you got Marc-Andre Fleury, who's maybe...
A depreciating asset is the term I use.
Right.
Which is nuts to think about. I mean, obviously, Vezina caliber, like, there's only down to go from there, technically, because you're the best in the league.
Right.
But coming off of that year, we're not going to get back into it.
Yeah, we're moving on. So Edmonton Oilers, they signed Cody Ceci for 4 years, $13 million contract. Cody Ceci was from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Good pickup. I don't know, 4 years, $13 million. I mean, it is $3.25 million a year average. Great. He's a good player all around. I think he'll definitely help out Edmonton Oilers.
I think they could use it. The Oilers need something to fucking get them over the first round. It's insane. Another Toronto Maple Leaf, Philadelphia Flyers type team.
Exactly.
But they have, yeah. I mean, they're exactly the same. Philadelphia Flyers, I guess not in that regard because I feel like Edmonton and Toronto both have those stud players like McDavid, Marner, Matthews,
Columbus Blue Jackets making waves again with Boone Jenner, 4 years, $15 million, which is $3.75 million a year.
I love this player.
Yeah.
He's awesome to watch.
Boone's excellent. Boone's been playing with him for a few years now, so this is a great contract extension for him. Really made his mark with Columbus for the past few years, and great contract for him. Now we're going to move on to Anaheim Ducks signing Ryan Getzlaf for 1 year, $4.5 million. Dude, how old is Getzlaf? We're talking about like just the age, the veterans on the Anaheim Ducks team. And $4.5 million is a lot for Ryan Getzlaf.
Dude, if you think about it though, obviously he's not in the same caliber as Alex Ovechkin.
Right.
He's only a year older. I think it's his hairline that makes us think that he's like so much older. He just looks like an older player. And I mean, 5 years for Ovi and 1 year for Getzlaf. Like, think about it like that. That's kind of nuts.
Holy shit.
Right?
Wow. I didn't even think about that.
But $4.5 million to keep your captain around, that's worth it. But it's a high pay. Yeah.
I forgot, yeah. Moving on, we got the Boston Bruins. Big sign here with Nick Foligno. 2 years, $3.8 million, which is $1.9 million a year for him. $1.9 million a year for Nick Foligno, I think is a good move for the Boston Bruins.
It's a good price point, and I think it's a great replacement for David Krejci, who announced that he's going to go play in the Czech League so he can be closer to his family this season. So,
LA Kings signing Alex Edler. With 1 year, $3.5 million. Edler played for Vancouver Canucks years ago, right? He's kind of been all around.
Good defenseman pickup, a little bit older, but it's good.
And then lastly, I can breathe. San Jose Sharks, they signed Nick Bonino for 2 years, $2.5 million. That's $2.05 million.
$450,000 you're giving this guy extra. Icing on the cake. Maybe that's why he signed for that 2.05. Maybe they'll actually like make a typo, give me 2.5.
Maybe. Trying to play the system here. But Nick Bonino, excellent player for where's Bonino been? Bonino's been Predators, right?
Predators, was he with Columbus?
Nick Bonino.
Pull it up now.
Yeah, look it up. I know Predators, right? And then somewhere else. Was it Chicago, maybe?
Anaheim, Vancouver, Pittsburgh, Nashville, Minnesota.
Minnesota, that's right, yeah. I mean, he's been all around, but I think he's a good all-around player, too. I think you'll see a lot of Bonino on the ice with the Sharks. Probably third line, maybe fourth, but good pickup for San Jose Sharks. Another team
San Jose Sharks are young. I could see him slotting into the second line even with what they have technically.
Gotcha. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams that I noticed after going through here that needed to make moves in this offseason that haven't made a move yet, which is kind of like, what are you doing? Like, at this point, you should have been like, as we talked about, like the Columbus Blue Jackets or the Canadians, just out there, just making moves. Seattle Kraken out there making moves.
A team like Ottawa comes to mind. A team like Toronto, who was fucked with cap.
Buffalo, should have been out there like a lot more.
Buffalo made their moves, but they made less take people in and get the picks in.
Yeah,
is what I think, and that's the smart move. I think. We talked about earlier. We mentioned something about goaltending and basically making a deep Stanley Cup run. Looking at the past goalies to win the Stanley Cup, right? You got Vasilevsky this year and last year, Binnington, Holtby, Matt Murray, Marc-Andre Fleury, and then we get into Blackhawks Kings territory, the Bruins. You need I wanted to say that you need basically one of the all-time greats. But I guess you really don't, right? Like, look at Binnington.
No.
Look at Holtby.
Right.
Murray. Those are three outliers. The rest of them are kind of all-time greats.
Again, you need to be on like a hot streak, right? You need to have that
hot at the right time.
Hot at the right time. I mean, playoffs are so weird for the NHL, man. Like, you could be like the number one team in the league and be like, holy shit, they're gonna win the cup, and then they could just completely tank first round, and you never know what the hell's gonna happen. Like, did we fucking know that Montreal Canadiens were gonna go to the Stanley Cup Finals this year against Tampa Bay Lightning? We had Vegas Golden Knights winning the cup. Didn't happen. I don't know.
It just doesn't work like that.
It just doesn't work, and you have no idea. Did we know Carey Price was going to be this hot-ass goalie? No. Do we know Vasilevsky was going to be this hot-ass goalie?
Yes.
Yes. But you just fucking never know. You got to be hot at the right time, yet again. But, yeah,
what
man.
a long-winded episode this was. I feel like we've talked the entire time.
Oh, my God. There's no... I got to tell you. So we put... I think I said this in the beginning of the episode. we do so much through Instagram on our DM. So like anything we see on Instagram or anything we see in general, we'll put on Instagram so we both see it. And
the big day was Wednesday, the 28th. We were like, dude, we got to just stop sending them. Like, we'll catch up later.
I think it got to the point it was like 7:30 at night, and you said it and be like, listen, we'll do this Friday. Like I can't. I can't.
If we just kept firing them, like, we're not gonna be able to dig through it all. So.
It was like every 10. It wasn't like every 10 minutes. It was like every 5 or 10 minutes. I'd see like 5 different posts, and like 5 different trade signings. Like, what the hell? And most of them are just like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on?
And then you're loading up Instagram the next day, and it's showing you posts from 3 days ago, and you're like, did I send this? Did I not send this?
Yeah,
like,
right. And it just
I was like,
goes
Jesus.
through.
So I was like, we'll just catch up later.
This was for the week of NHL. This is a lot to
tell you what. It's good that I'm going away next week and not this week. Imagine if I was going this week, like, you'd have to do the fucking show. You know what I mean?
Just by myself.
You'd have to do something. Like, there are so many moves and signings. Like, we'd be fucked.
I would love to, if it was up to me, I would kill to do an edit of you doing the intro to the episode and getting up like how you normally do and just never come back. And it's just me the entire time.
Come back in the end. What I miss? Or come back to do the outro.
Oh man, but that was a lot. Crazy week for the NHL. I didn't even bother looking up anything else. AHL, OHL news. I was like, nope, this is gonna be this is all the news we need.
Oh yeah, that's what the first day of free agency is,
right.
And all these trades.
And you made a good point where it's like, this is a short season, so it kind of makes sense why everything is happening so quick, because it's a shortened off season.
But it does do that every year though. Like, on this day, this is when everything happens.
Yeah,
and then from here, it'll be kind of quiet for the next, normally it's the next 3 months.
Right.
And now it's quiet for 3 weeks.
Right, exactly. I'm sure there'll be more going on, especially for Seattle Kraken. I do want to hear more news about Marc-Andre Fleury and see what the hell happens with that. As you all know, I'm a big Marc-Andre Fleury fan. Anything you're interested in? More information?
I'm interested in getting on a fucking plane on Wednesday, but I can't fucking wait, dude.
Aruba, baby.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're already ready to go.
Yeah,
It's Sam Adams, like, Aruba hat.
This is like the white guy special. Like, you show up at the beach and you're like wearing this, you're cheesing, tank top, sunburnt to shit, flip flops, got my cooler of beer, dude, good to go.
You have like this big thick strip of like sunscreen.
Hey, you guys know, have you ever seen Lilo and Stitch? The big dude that's burnt to shit, always his ice cream falls. That's me at the beach. Fat slob.
So yeah, this is gonna be the last episode for the next 2 weeks. I want to thank everyone for listening in. Dude, this has been a run and a half. We started episode 1 and haven't taken a break since. So it's going to be weird to have a little break here, but I think it's going to be well needed.
It's the right time,
It's the right time to do it. Yeah. Do you want to take us out here?
Yeah, we got to do our shot, bud.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I got Del Maguey, Single Village Mezcal.
Yeah, that looks
45% alcohol.
It looks like rat poison.
It's tequila, basically. But yeah, the bottle is kind of funny. It does kind of look like rat poison.
And then I hate tequila. Oh, Jesus.
I do too. I don't want this at all.
I got Dr. McGillicuddy's apple pie. I had Hennessy, but I'm like, no.
Did you have the apple pie before?
No, I never had the apple pie.
Oh, it's bomb, dude.
It
is?
It's
just like apple pie, yeah.
Ooh. Okay, cool.
You want to trade?
No, I don't want to trade.
I'll give you half.
No, thanks. We had Glenn Levitt 14 before this episode. That was really fucking good. I said I got the nip for it, but we were just like, yeah, we got to put that on ice and just like relax.
Yeah, Matt jammed so many ice cubes in there. We were going over the notes, and by the time we were done with everything, it's fucking like half water.
Only ice, yeah. But it was actually really good.
Yeah, it was very, very good. Good whiskey.
Is it
Scotch?
Scotch, right?
Yeah, Scotch.
Scotch. Yeah.
Scotch is whiskey,
Scotch
but
is whiskey, but it's different.
Scotland,
yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, as you could tell, it
was Glenlivet 14.
If you guys pay attention to me on the podcast, is that I normally do heavy drinks like Jameson or whatever. So it's like sipping drinks. Whereas you're a beer guy, so you chug it. So as you can see, you'll see Chris get up left and right for like different beers. Whereas I've had my beer this entire time and I'm halfway through.
It's
like
warm.
I sip.
Is
you
it
just
warm?
give me shit for it. No, it's fine.
It's pretty warm.
I don't know. I'm still sipping on it.
Ugh. You got to know what I got to bring down next week is the little Yeti thing, so you can it'll stay cold for you. Yeah, I got to use that for you.
Got to get one of those. But yeah, let's do the shot, call it out, and I hope everyone at the end of this says a great 2 weeks. Again, we'll be back. What the hell's today's date? The 30th. We'll be back in the fuck. We should have.
Well, I already did that at the beginning of the episode.
Did you say what date we're gonna be back?
Sure did, bud. You're welcome.
Nice.
You should listen to the show sometime. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I do the edit too. Thanks, man.
Dude, I listen to it every week in the car. You fuck you. Cheers, bud.
Cheers, bud. Holy shit, that's good. Oh my god, you know what that tastes like?
I think I got the worm.
What?
You don't know there's worm in tequila?
No?
Never heard of that? That's
No.
funny. There's not actually a worm in this bottle.
But it's
But
like,
when you go to Mexico, they I think there's some kind of worm. I don't know the actual story, but there's basically like a worm in tequila bottles. And
Is that real?
It's not like
No,
like
it's
an
not real.
No, it's real. It's not like an earthworm, but there's some kind of worm that they put in it. And like in Mexico, you go there, and you like drink the worm, dude.
Holy shit.
It's fucked up.
So, speaking of that, in Japan, there's this whiskey. I think they make Japanese whiskey. No. Yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah.
It's Japanese tequila whiskey. I can't remember which
Japanese
one it is.
whiskey, yeah.
But how they use it is this big bottle, and on the bottom of the bottle is like this decaying. It's like venomous snake, like cobra or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I've seen that, dude. Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you can take shots of it. And I didn't look for it in Japan, but when I go back to Japan, like that's gonna be like
Dude,
on my
that's
fucking
nuts.
list to see.
There's this one cool bottle that I always see at one of my stores. It's there's brandies, and there's one made with that's like pear flavored. There's apple, blackberry, blah blah blah, all the flavors. There's a pear one that they take the bottle and they put it on the pear tree as before the pear buds and grows. So the stem of the pear is basically at the neck of the bottle. The full pear grows into the bottle, and then they snap the stem. So there's a full pear inside of the bottle, but you can't get it basically.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty cool.
So they do what do they do with it?
There's literally like a pear tree with a shit ton of bottles on it over where the pear would grow, and as the pear
There's
grows,
just a bottle of pear.
yeah, but they put brandy in it.
Oh, that's I missed that part.
Pear brandy,
Pear
yeah,
brandy, got it. Oh my god, that sounds good.
and it has like a full pear in it, so it tastes like really good.
Nice. This reminds me of the in the beginning episode. Actually, I gotta put that up. This is why we started doing the nips here, and I found out because we wanted to go back and see. It was that night where you came down, episode 3. You came down, and your wife knows this customer or whatever that makes his own.
The moonshine, yeah.
The moonshine. It's the apple moonshine. This is exactly what it tastes like. Definitely.
Oh yeah,
less toxic than the moonshine.
it's toxic.
But this
MK
reminded
still
me-
has hers. The other night, I went to go get her a drink out of the fridge, and I was like, "Oh, you still got the apple pie moonshine." She's like, "Word, I forgot about that." So she's probably gonna drink that before we leave.
That's the best thing ever. But yeah, you're the one who started this, by the way. So congratulations. After that episode, we were just like, let's do a nip at the end of every episode, and here we are.
I think it's a cool little tradition.
I like
it,
that. It's
so.
a good little tradition for everyone if you guys want to hop in. But I gotta tell you, man, throughout the episodes we have tried some shit. I mean,
You have tried some.
I have
shit
tried some shit. I have tried some fucking awful shit. But you had those 99 balloon things or whatever the fuck
99 balloons.
that I was just, God, I loved it. It was like you hurting and me
Atrocious.
just like being good. So, all right, man. So, did we tell him why? Should we tell him why you're going to Aruba?
No, it's all good. It's whatever.
Okay, yeah. So, enjoy your time in Aruba.
Thanks, bud.
We'll see everyone in 2 weeks from now. We're going to have a shit ton of NHL news, and let's call it out.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. If there's anything you want to see us cover next episode, let us know. Our links are in the description, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Bye, guys.
Later.